What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Renaissance-Bodybuilder, a sneak peek into my mental health journey as I navigate through what it really means to be on a journey of self-discovery. Welcome. How you guys doing? Welcome to another day. Welcome to another life. Woo, woo, woo. First, I want to start off by saying thank you so much for listening to last week's episode and bearing through the very crazy story. And thank you for the feedback on that. Yes, I can go back and laugh at that story. And which is why, like I said, it took me so long for me to even come out and tell you that, because that was very serious. I could have died, like seriously. But here we are today, and I'm grateful and thankful. Let's jump right in. How we always start. How am I feeling? I am feeling great, y'all. I'm feeling really, really good. I'm feeling really determined to change, determined for change, inviting change in, whichever. I'm feeling great. I'm feeling great about it. And more so change that I can see being beneficial for my future. Even starting off small, like just recently switching from midnight workouts to actually early morning workouts. So I used to work out like literally at midnight, wouldn't be done till like 3 a.m. and loved it, by the way. Absolutely loved it because I could get in, get to all the weights, get to all the machines that I need to. If I wanted to do some recording, I could go ahead and do that too. No, without, people watching me and stuff like that. Or also I can get in and not be stopped by people. I understand that that is a place where people can get their questions answered from people who, obviously look like me. But for the most part, it is quite frustrating, especially when, you're head deep into your workout and all of a sudden you get stopped like almost every set. It's actually quite annoying, but hey, I love it. I love it. On Instagram, not in person too much. So moving it to the mornings actually frees up my entire evenings to do other things. Like I think I want to join like an organization. Not sure which one yet. Still doing some research on that. But yeah, I think this is something that I'm really, really excited about, is just inviting change into my life now. Good change. Yeah, I go from there. Moving right along to the affirmations, through 3 affirmations that I found favorable this week. Starting with, negative people have no place in my life, period. Because I, if you haven't noticed, am a positive person. And for a long time, I felt a way about that. I felt like, oh, you shouldn't be positive all the time, or it's not good to be positive all the time, or it's not good to be optimistic all the time. But forget that. I think it is. I think it is good to be positive all the time. I think it is good to look at the good in things, to be optimistic about things. I didn't say delusional, but optimistic. Looking at the bright side of things. Because why not? Man, this world. Have y'all seen it? Crazy, insane, intense, all the words. So if I choose to be positive in my little world, so be it. And that is all I'm inviting into this world, okay? Thanks, period. Next, my new life requires me to release my old ways. That just goes along with how I'm feeling. If I want to invite change, I need to get rid of the old and invite the new. Boom, change. And then lastly, I deserve to be the best version of Mike, because why not? Again, why not? I feel like I deserve the best. Because again, why not? Everybody deserves to be the best version of themselves. One thing that I do enjoy people saying to me is that, oh, I do plan on doing competitions. And I'm just like, okay, good. Because why not see your body in the best version it can ever be, right? And that's just not even to say about competitions, just about even being in shape, or just being, again, the best version of you, whatever that looks like. Because why not? Why not perform at a, optimal level for yourself? Why not invite change into your life? Why not be positive about things that are coming to you? Why not give your all in any personal project that you're doing? Like it's just you want to be the best version of you to carry on for centuries, for years, for generations, however long you want it to carry on for. So that's why I really, really like that one, especially for myself and for others. But again, like I said before, I am getting all these affirmations from the I Am app. It is an app that sends out daily affirmations to your phone. And I just found out that there are categories of affirmations that this app can give you. I was staying in the actual positive affirmation section, but then there's a section for like healing after a relationship. There's a section for what not safe for work section, but it's just like saying stuff like, oh, I'm sexy and stuff like that. I mean, it's still playful, but it's still positive, and it's still affirmations that would help you personally in your personal growth. So definitely check that app out in any app store, any phone that you got. It's in the app store. Check it out. All right. So moving on to the show. What were we talking about? Telling from the title, you can see I do miss my parents. I do miss them. This show came about because I am struggling with how to intercept my parents, how to strike up a conversation, how to, pierce through the intense screen wall that they have up. So I was trying to see if I could find ways to do that. But instead, I found that our parents, when coming out, they also go through a process, which, duh, I don't know why I didn't think about this. They also go through a couple stages. We can talk about them here. I do understand that I need to give my parents space because I was allowed the time and space for myself as well. But I also know that I don't want to be so distant away from them that when we do get, to a place of talking, it's not too awkward. I want it to be very natural, or at least as natural as possible when we do start the conversation up. And I know I can't really control that, but I want to try and like have an open line of communication some way, somehow. But I have to understand what stage they're in, a stage in this process that we're about to talk about, for me to even do that. So the article that I'm going to be reading from today is from an organization called Out Proud in Philadelphia. This article came about from two parents who had a child that came out, and during that process, before they actually, came out to them, they found that their child was being distant. And that resonated with me because I was definitely being distant with my mom too. Once I found out that, I like boys, and I knew that that was not a part of their plan. Hell, not even a part of mine. And I just knew that how they, the things that they even said about homosexuality, the things that they said about other families who had kids who came out as well, horrible things were said. So it was just like, well, damn, now I'm that kid and I don't want to, be that person. But then as time went on, I started getting mad. I started getting really, really pissed at my parents just because even if I wanted to come out, y'all not gonna love me. Even if I wanted to come out, y'all not gonna support me. Y'all not gonna do the things that I want y'all to do. So I'm just gonna be mad. Like yeah, for a while, I was just really, really mad for no reason. I mean, well, I guess I had a reason, but when I said no reason, I mean like anytime I had a conversation with my mom, I was being a, lack of better words, bitch. Like I was being really mean to her. I was being very quote unquote blunt about stuff that did not make sense. We would have yelling matches all the time. She was wrong on everything, even though she was right. But it wasn't a relationship that I wanted with my mom, especially being a mama's boy. And especially knowing that how close we have been before, and knowing that I probably am never going to get that close to her ever again. Well, thinking that I could never get that close to her again. But I was just pissed. I was just really, really mad at the whole thing, not really understanding why it's going on. And in that, in my madness, I guess you could say, I was distancing myself, really, really pulling back, barely talking in the family group text, barely talking during the family prayer, barely talking when our family got together, because I just, for what? Anything I say was going to be wrong. Anything I did was going to be wrong. Anything I said or did was going to be judged, talked about. So why even say anything? So that's what was happening to this family. So the parents decided to go to one of the meetings. It was a meeting in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays meeting. And they did a survey. They ran a survey with all the parents there, asking them when your child came out, what were some of the stages that you went through? And they kind of came up with like an average list of stages that all the parents went through. And here are the stages. Stage 1, shock. Stage 2, denial. Stage 3, guilt. Stage 4, feelings expressed. Stage 5, making decisions. And stage 6, true acceptance. Those are the stages that they came up with. Through some other articles I read, there were 3 more that kept coming up: was blame, anger, and fear. Those were some of the other stages that other articles kind of pointed out. And I agree, especially with the blame, anger, and fear, all 3 of them, because there was a point that my dad did blame my mom. There was a point where my pops was very angry, still probably is, because that's why we're not talking. And then I'm sure there's fear, running up and down my mom and dad's, minds, especially being African. So I definitely want to point those out as stages that I found in other articles. But we're going to talk about these 6 stages and kind of what they have come up with. Let's start off with shock. And I'll have all of this, obviously, in the show notes. So an initial state of shock can be anticipated if you suspect that your parents have no idea what you are about to share. It may last anywhere from 10 minutes to a week. Okay. Usually it wears off in a few days. Shock is a natural reaction that we all experience and need for a while to avoid acute distress and unpleasantness. So I can agree with that. I can agree with my mom and dad kind of going through a state of shock on my initial come out, I guess you can say. And yeah, sure. It was about, and on average, I think about 3 days. 3 days for my mom, because that's when she said she went into fasting and prayer, and then finally came out of that and, decided to tell me what she wanted to tell me. But my dad, it took shorter than that. So, okay, sure. You know what? I can agree with that timeline that they said. Interesting. And then the next stage being denial. Denial helps to shield a person from a threatening or painful message. It is different from shock because it indicates the person has heard the message and is attempting to build a defense mechanism to ward it off. Definitely. Absolutely. Definitely my mom is, I believe, I want to say she is still in this stage, especially in the sense of the Bible verses telling me, it is just temporary. This is just the devil playing with your mind, stuff like that. As for my dad, not too sure. Haven't really talked to him. But yeah, definitely denial being a stage that is definitely in there. I can see that. There's a lot more information on this article about denial. I definitely don't want to read through it all because I want you guys to kind of, read through this yourself too. And then I don't want this to be just me reading off of an article. So let's move on to guilt. Most people who deal with homosexuality initially perceive it as a problem and ask what caused it. They think if they can locate a cause, then a cure is not far behind. So I don't think my parents are. Then again, I haven't talked to them, so I can't really tell. I can't really tell you where they are with this, but I can see this being something that my mom wants to talk about soon. Especially, it says single parents feel extra blame. It's not uncommon for single parents to heap extra blame on themselves because of an early loss, separation, or divorce from their spouse. I knew, this is a quote from them, I knew I failed you. I just couldn't be both mother and father at the same time. And that kind of goes in with blame. Like I said, I believe there was a point where my dad did blame my mom because I was so close to my mom and I wasn't as close as my brothers were to my dad. So I didn't get that male figure that my brothers got. I wasn't into sports like that. I wasn't into like all the, I guess, manly things that that one is in, that a little boy is in growing up. Yeah, I was playing with my cousin. I was playing with her dolls. There were times I did do, go out and do backflips. There were other times that I did go and, play Smash Bros with the boys. There were times I did do those, but did I enjoy that? Not necessarily. I enjoyed playing with dolls with my cousin. I enjoyed playing dress up and putting like the t-shirt on my head and walking around and doing my thing thistle. Because it was just, I don't know, it was just like fun to me then, and not really necessarily thinking that it was like a gay thing. It was just what I wanted to do. So yeah, I could see the single parent thing definitely being a thing because, oh, if y'all didn't know, my parents divorced when I was 5. So definitely been single for a while. Stage 5, feelings expressed. They acknowledge their emotions. This is kind of hard for African parents, but when it's clear that guilt and self-incrimination are unproduced, they acknowledge their emotions. When it's clear that guilt and self-incrimination are unproductive, parents are ready to ask questions, listen to answers, and acknowledge their feelings. This is the point at which some of the most productive dialogue between you and your parents will take place. This is the part that I'm actually waiting for because I'm ready to talk. I am ready to really express myself to my parents and really get the full version of who I am and who I've become. But then I also want them to understand that their teachings have not been replaced by anything. I still cherish their teachings. I still am practicing all of their, what I've learned from them. And I want to get that message across to them. But again, I know, patience. I know I need to give them time, and I know I need to give them room. But damn, I'm waiting for stage 4, optimistic about stage 4. And I'm not, you know what? I'm not even gonna hold you. Also, why it took me so long to even tell my parents is because what would be the outcome? Like afterwards, what, we're just gonna be one big happy family? Yeah, right. I just did not see that happening. But talking to a lot of my friends, especially a lot of my African friends whose parents have definitely come around, I can see it being possible. So, stage 5, making decisions, the fork in the road. As the emotional trauma subsides, your parents will increasingly deal with the issue. It's common at this point for them to retreat for a while and consider the options that lie ahead. Interesting. It's like reaching a fork in the road that has a number of paths from which to choose. The choice each person makes is reflected on the attitude he or she is ready to adopt in dealing with the situation. So again, I'm waiting. I am waiting till we get to this. There's also a passage on being supportive under, decision making. I'm really, really wanting to see what being supportive looks like for my parents to me, because for a long time and still to this day, about to get real. I never really felt supported by my parents in any of the hobbies that I did. I know it comes from a place of love, but it is very hard to see that when your parents don't show up to anything that you do and yet criticizes everything that you do. So I'm wanting to really, really see what being supportive from my family looks like, or my parents, I should say, looks like. That's real. The last step, true acceptance. Some parents get this far. Most may love their child without finally accepting the child's life. I heard about this. I definitely heard about a lot of, especially African parents too, getting here, getting to the point where, the parents is getting old. And, they're just like, I don't care who you sleep with. I love you for you. You are my child. Let's do this. And then it's just like in my mind, okay, you accept me, but are we just not going to talk about the boy that I want to bring over or the husband that I kind of want to have now? Like, are we just not going to talk about that? Like, how does that look? And am I going to accept that? I don't know. We'll have to see when we get there. Many reach the point where they can also celebrate their child's uniqueness. These fortunate ones view homosexuality as a legitimate expression of human sexuality. Now, see, here's where I say I'm optimistic but not delusional. I don't know if my parents, I don't know if my parents would get there. I feel like I will get I just love you for you. We don't even have to talk about that. Cool. And we could just move forward type thing. I'm going to get that. And I only say that because during Christmas break, like I said, when I went back to Houston after coming out to my parents and after the awkward hello stage to my mom, we got to a point where we were actually having a conversation, but it ain't had nothing to do with who I was or who I've become. Like, not at all. But it was like old times and it felt good. So I guess it's something that I have to now also get used to as well. But we'll see. But yeah, guys, those are the 6 stages that this article does call out. It is a very good article that I found, and I will definitely put in the show notes. I suggest you take the time to read it, especially for those who have not come out to their parents yet. Also for those who have, just to kind of understand the stages that your parents are going through or will go through. Like the article says, not every parent would kind of go through this, and I also believe some parents will definitely skip steps. It's good to know these things because, like I said in the beginning, for me, I just didn't know how to even talk to them. But I guess if I understand what stage they're in, I know how to move or maneuver around them. And like, I think my parents are still at like stage 2, where it's giving guilt or denial, excuse me. The article, I don't think it says how long it takes, which makes sense because every family's different. But yeah, good luck, y'all. We got this. We're going to do this. So yeah, that is the episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening. You guys have a good one. Peace. Love you.